Want to make sure you're getting the most out of your putting practice? Check out this fascinating research from Dave Pells.
Yes, listen to this. Look, the face is 4 times more important than the path when you putt. But the pace is 4 times more important than the face. What does that mean? It means the pace is 16 times more important than the path. And lots of people are working on the path. What a waste of time. Put this formula into play, you will have more single putts and fewer 3 putts. We all love that.
School of Golf, driven by Kia. Chapter 18, Putt for Dough.
Thanks for joining us on School of Golf. I'm Blair O'Neill alongside the 2008 PGA Teacher of the Year, Martin Hall, and how you put your hands on the putter is extremely important. And from amateurs to masters champions, we're seeing more and more of a unique style grip, aren't we, Martin?
Yeah, we certainly are. I mean, Sergio winning the Masters with, call it the claw grip, the pencil grip, the saw grip. Now, who should use that? Hey, if you know you've got a little bit of hit, a bit of giddy up, as Mark O'Meara once told me, that's why he changed to it. If you've got a bit of woo in your stroke, the saw grip, the claw grip is why Sergio went to it.
Right?
Although some of the younger pros are just going to it anyway. Now, let me show you what the advantages of the saw claw grip are. When you put your right hand, your lower hand, your trail hand on the putter this way, you really take a lot of the ability of that the wrist to move out. In putting, if you can putt conventional, it can be very good, but you invite some wrist activity. This way you somewhat freeze the joint and therefore take the hit. To be honest, it's not one I'm overly comfortable with, but it's a very good stroke for people. Well, maybe I should be. It's a very good stroke if you know you've got the wobbles a bit with putting, and/or it's a very good stroke, it's a very good grip to try. If you're just not quite happy with how you're putting them, you can always change that grip. A lot of players doing it for good reason.
Well, we all want to putt better, right, Martin? So,
yes.
Let's get the show started. It's time for lesson plan.
Lesson plan indeed. Okay. Well, the inspiration for this lesson plan came while I was overseas at Newcastle Golf Club, sitting on the patio, drinking coffee, watching amateur after amateur after amateur practice putting. And what did I see? I saw the 4 following mistakes. Poor stability, wobbling all over the place, bad rhythm, no idea of acceleration, inconsistent club face control, and a definite tendency to under-read greens. So let's get this show on putting starting by going to the big television here, and let's look at the average 2-putt distance. If you never 3-putted again, you'd probably be a much better putter than you are now. We want to show you how to knock them in, but let's look at this. The average 2-putt distance for a professional. He will 2-putt. That means he'll make 1 or 3-putt. He'll 2-putt at 30 feet. That's his average at 30 feet. Over 30 feet, he might 3-putt. Under 30 feet, he might hold it. Someone who shoots 70 to 83, that becomes 25 feet. Not bad. Someone who shoots 84 to 97, now it's 19 feet, lost 11 feet to the Tour Pros. So if you're 19 feet away and the Tour Pros 20 feet away, 25 feet away, 26 feet away, you're probably not going to do as well as him. And this is the one that absolute killer. If you shoot from 97 to 120, you are as likely to 3-putt from 12 feet as you are to hold it. OMG. Well, look, let's get going on those things. It's about pace. To be a good putter, you've got to control your pace. And I want to start this first segment with 2 things that are really important: stability and rhythm. Stability, to me, would be not moving the lower body one bit. This is Jordan Spieth, arguably over the last year or two the greatest putter on the planet, and I'm just going to draw some lines here, and you're going to see that essentially as he putts there is negligible to virtually no lower body movement. I mean, there's virtually no lower body movement there. I remember one of the great teachers saying to me one time he liked to imagine he'd put people in a big pickle barrel there, filled it full of concrete, and they just stayed in that pickle barrel full of concrete. And I'll tell you what, it certainly looks to me as if Jordan Spieth does that. There's no lower body motion, and you're going to see also there's no particular wrist action. I've got to drill for that. Now, I really didn't feel it was fair to put Blair in a barrel full of concrete. Felt that might affect your modelling career slightly.
That.
Well, good. It's just the type of guy I am. But
Such a nice
stability.
guy.
You have to have stability. And I've got 2 drills for stability. What does stability mean? It means the lower body doesn't move too much. It means the wrists don't move too much.
Right.
Okay, so you know that. You know these things. You have to train them. It's not enough to know. It's good to know, but it's not enough to know. So as I always like to do, I've got simple drills you can do on
Okay,
your
I like
golf
that.
course.
Keep it simple is always a good thing.
Who's got a towel? Just about everybody.
This guy?
Just about everybody's got a towel.
Everyone has a towel in their bag.
If you want to feel stability with the lower body, as simple as it gets, but really good, roll up a towel.
Okay.
Put it underneath the arches of your
okay.
feet, and right away you get a connection between the heels and probably the joints of the big toes and perhaps even the toes. And you can feel stability, and you can feel when you're going back and forth whether you're moving or not.
Okay.
I'm just going to roll that towel up.
Okay, roll it up.
Put it down there, and I want you to do, I should roll it up a little bit better than that. There we go. That's more like, roll it up nicely. Now just have a few practice swings to start with. Arches there.
Okay, I can
and just
feel
want
that.
a few practice swings. And, you know, you might even want to close your eyes because that heightens your feel. Both hands on the club. I want both hands on the club. I know that's your routine, but we'll come to that later. Do you feel putting on that towel alerts you to a sense of steadiness, a sense of stillness?
Definitely. There's a connection with the ground, I feel, so it's helping me to keep everything still.
Well, there's only 2 real connections in golf, by the way, and you've just hit one of them. That would be the feet to the ground, and the other one is the hands to the club. So let's have you putt one here.
You can feel that instantly when you put the
You certainly can. I don't know that towel is absolutely aimed where you would want it to be. So if it doesn't go, we're actually at about the 50-50 mismake here. But a sense of keeping the lower body especially still. Very important for putting to keep the lower body still. Beautifully done. Keeping the lower body beautifully still. That's number 1, stability. Let's trade places now. Number 2 stability would be this.
It's a little right to left, just so you know.
Tiny bit right to left. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Helping you out.
Look. Excessive, unnecessary, unwanted wrist action. Who does that? I would say a vast majority of people who shoot over 80. They really do. Now, can you putt while using your wrist? Yes, you can. But it is difficult. And it is better to reduce the variables, one of them being the stability with the feet. Another variable you can reduce is a wrist action. We just saw Jordan Spieth on the big screen there. He actually does it by going left-hand low. If you don't want to go left-hand low, there's a great way to practice. And that's just to go down the grip a little bit more than normal and just put a ball in there between the top of the grip and the arm, and see if you can just move that putter back and forth without that ball dropping out. Now, I'll exaggerate a bit, but if you use excessive wrist action, that ball's coming out. Now, is this just a drill for beginners? No. I've seen people do this at the Masters. I've seen people do this at the US Open. I've seen people do this at the Open Championship. Learning to putt and keeping that ball right by your left arm is a very good way to ensure you've got very good stability when you're putting. Now, if you've got good stability when you're putting...
Good putt there?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. If you've got good stability when you're putting, you're well on the way. The second thing that I saw as I watched golfers at Newcastle Golf Club was an absolute proliferation of bad rhythm, poor acceleration, bashing it 5 feet past the hole, leaving it 10 feet short. My mother-in-law, lovely lady, wonderful direction with the putting, no idea with distance.
No really. Feel for the speed?
None at all, because she has bad rhythm. Now, look, we're in this age of technology, and so we can measure things now that we've never been able to measure. So I'm delighted to bring to the show the app from Blast. If you want to putt better, you need to look at this. I got permission from my people to put this on the show. It is fantastic. Mike Bentley, the mad professor from California, has invented something tremendous. Let me show you this. So I'm going to go and get the iPad here. It's all synced up.
They've got the app downloaded, ready to go?
There we are. Now, there is there's a number of settings on this, which you're going to see in a moment. But you can actually, this was a putt I hit before. And let me show you. My backswing, this is not a fake, by the way, Mike Bentley, if you're watching. I actually did this. And I'm going to show you how you can do this without the app. But my backswing took 0.61 seconds. My downswing took 0.33. That's a tempo ratio of 1.9. Very good. Now, if you've watched me talk about putting ever before, you know the ideal tempo ratio is 2.0. So the ideal time would be 0.6 going back, 0.3 going through. 0.6, 0.3. This measures to 100th of a second. I am going to give you a way you can do this without the app, but really the app is so very, very good. Now, here's what we find with the best putters. This is really interesting. They take 0.6 of a second going back, 0.3 of a second coming through, irrespective of the length of putt.
I'll hold this.
I'm going to get rid of that. Let's make sure I'm activated.
Reactivated?
I think I am.
Okay.
So I'm going to see what we get. Now, I do know that Brad Faxon, who's a wonderful, wonderful putter, Brad Faxon used it so well they thought the app was broken. He just layered one putt on top of another. So here we go. I'm going to let's see what my time is and my tempo ratio is. In it went. Now let's have a look. Now, I was 0.58 going back. Can you see that? 0.58. 0.6 is really good. 0.58 is not bad. I was 0.34 going through. Not bad. What that actually means, though, is that my forward swing was a little bit too slow. It wasn't exactly half. It should have been 0.29. Brad Faxon actually is 0.59. Okay. My tempo ratio 1.7, and it should be the same irrespective of the length of putt. Now, let me show you a couple of things here, and then I'm going to give you a drill. I'm going to have you have a go with it.
Okay.
No, it's not going anywhere yet.
No, all right.
I'm going to show you what typically you would see. Okay, so this would be the people at Newcastle Golf Club. This would be Susie Clowes in the E.R. Corn Trophy.
Oh.
And that was...
a little much on the forward swing.
Well, 0.31 going back, so not much time going back. 0.8 coming through, OMG 2, and a tempo ratio of 4.1. Occasionally, you will see this, occasionally, and this would be my mistake. Occasionally, you will see people take too long, and you might think you're rolling it. Now, that's 1.5. Now, look, I said to you, I can give you a way, and this is how I've learned to do it. I can give you a way to do it. Try this count when you putt.
So this is if our viewers at home don't have the app, right?
Yeah, although really, if you want to putt better, you must. But if you don't have the app, here's what I found works perfectly. If I count when I'm putting 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1.
Okay.
1, 2, 3 going back, 1 coming down. 1, 2, 3, 1. If I am at 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, I will be pretty close to the ideal numbers. Now, it's 0.63 going back, 0.34 coming down, 1.8.
So
it's not bad. I want you to have a quick go. I know you've never used this. This is not fake.
Never have. Never used this putter.
And look, it's a great way. Even if you just did it with the count, ladies and gentlemen at home. One, you can't forward press with this, by the way.
No.
I don't know if you do. But 1, 2, 3, 1. Oh, you show off.
I nailed it, guys.
Look at that.
I nailed it.
Look at that. 0.58, which is,
ever.
1/100th of a time behind Faxon, and 0.30. Now, I don't need to ask if you're a good putter by looking at that. You obviously are a good putter.
Yes.
If you can practice that way and you can learn to repeat your timing and repeat your rhythm, who would have thought that in putting, we know in the big swing there's timing, but who would have thought in putting there's a time? There is. And guess what? We can measure it now. And what you can measure, you can manage, you can improve. Feedback, so important. And I've gone through that fairly quickly, but this is massive for golf instruction.
This is pretty cool technology.
It's super cool
technology. How good is that? And I like the results of this. So
of course you do.
Good stuff here. I like it. Okay. Up next, don't go anywhere. We'll teach you how to correct another one of the biggest putting mistakes, inconsistent face control.
Yeah, very much so. And really, to get control of the club face, you'll see tour pros using training aids, all sorts of things to help them get face control. And when we come back, I'm going to give you some simple ones that you can do at home to get control of your club face.
School of Golf, brought to you by the K900 from Kia, official vehicle of the LPGA. Bushnell Golf and the Pro X2 with enhanced slope switch technology. Cleveland Golf's new RTX 3. Get closer. Skechers Go Golf Birdie, the official shoe of Bell & Motho.
Welcome back to School of Golf. Now, we've already covered the first two biggest putting mistakes. Number one being poor stability. Martin gave a great drill, rolling up a towel, putting it under your feet. That's definitely going to help you feel stable throughout your putting stroke. Number two, bad rhythm. Download that app, work on your rhythm, get good rhythm like me, right, Martin? I liked it. It was good results. Now let's move along to number three, and that's inconsistent face control.
Yeah, I just want to go back there a little bit and say that poor stability and bad rhythm got it out in the end. Poor stability and bad rhythm are 1 and 2 because they are the ones that will absolutely affect the pace of the putt, which is 16 times more important than the path. Now, the face control affects the direction. The face angle when you hit the ball is over 90% responsible for the direction the ball goes in. Now, how can you practice that? People practice with swing path devices, but very few of them do much to control the club face. I like people to at least practice with the stripe on the back of the ball. You can see here we're watching video, and we're watching, you know, some of the best players in the world using devices that will help them with their aim. They will help them with the start direction of the ball, which is a wonderful indication, in fact, of the face angle at impact. So as I mentioned, I like people to start with a stripe on the ball to practice. And the thing with the stripe is you line it up vertical to where you want the ball to start, and you have a definite intent to hit the back of the ball, to hit that stripe. I'm exaggerating just a touch here, but if I came in too open, I'm going to hit on the inside of the ball. And I think you'll see if I came in too closed, I'll come in that way, I would hit the outside of the ball. So having an intent to hit the back of the ball is really good. A couple of drills you can do. And I mean, we just saw some of the world's best. They do these drills every week. It's not enough to just
to get those reps in.
You have to reinforce. If you just took a 48-inch steel ruler, which I've got here, and you put a ball with a stripe on it, and just see if you can roll the ball the full length of that 48-inch ruler. This is hard. I don't know if I'll do it or not. It's hard. But it's wonderful practice, and it's great for your aim. Anything that helps you aim well is good. You can put your putter face against the end of that 48-inch ruler and make sure that you're aimed in the right direction. You can put your face against the lines. It certainly doesn't negate stability, but can I start the ball right down that line and keep it on that line? No, I pulled it just a little bit. Now, what does that mean? It means the face was closed. It means I hit slightly on the outside of the ball. So if that was my tendency, and that is my tendency, I would have to practice trying to make sure I hit right on the back of the ball and try to keep it on that ruler. I over-exaggerated, but that's part of learning. Give it a go, Blair.
Or give it a go. All right, I love the idea of putting the line on the golf ball. I think obviously it gives you a great visual.
Well, it certainly helps with your aim. This is an incredibly hard drill. It might be the hardest drill I know for face control, but it's the one that if you can do it is really, really going to help you putting.
This is going left of that hole, just so we know. Oh, it looked left to me.
Now, so that's interesting too. It actually isn't going left of the hole. So not only did it help with starting the ball online, it helped Blair's perception. So it is really worth taking this out on the putting green, finding a straight putt, or at least your start direction.
Right.
Can you roll the ball down that line? Great way to practice. And, you know, I mean, what does a 48-inch ruler cost? Not very much.
Well, I love this. Michael, if you're watching, you need to go out and get this ruler, because this is going to help you at home and really everyone. I love that.
Well, I think it will, because, well, it'll help the direction. Now, a second way, and this is sort of what I'd call, this is homework. My mad inventor friend Dale did this for me. But if I take this elevated aim line, which is a little different than normal. They'll put some golf balls on it, and I like it because again, it helps me. It helps me see the line. But this you can do at home, and I'm going to make one slight addendum to it. It gives me a line. It's really good to see that line, but somewhere down that line, about a foot down the line, to check the start direction of my golf ball. You can do this at home. I really hope you do. Somewhere down here, I'm going to put one golf ball. I'm going to put a sleeve of balls, giving myself a touch of room on one side, a touch of room on the other side. You get to choose how much room you give yourself. But again, can you start the ball on line? Again, the stripe is lined straight up. Can you start the ball there? Now, it's so interesting to me. I mean, that definitely looks offline to me. I know it's not, but it looks offline. And again, I pulled it, which is my tendency. So I've definitely got work to do on that. Blair, show me up again, if you would be so kind, please.
Let's see, I'm going for 3.
But one of the things Dave Pell's taught me is this. You can't fix your putting if you don't know what your tendencies are. I've just exhibited to the whole world I tend to pull putts. Not a problem. Next time you see me putting, I won't be pulling them. But you need the feedback. Well, some of us need the feedback.
I love this feedback. I love it.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I love putting drills like this, though.
Well, the feedback is where you improve. Just going out on the putting green, like all these golfers I saw at dear old Newcastle Golf Club, doesn't make you a better putter. It just makes you more of what you're already doing. If you want to improve, you've got to be prepared to be uncomfortable. All good stuff is just the other side. All improvement is just the other side of being uncomfortable. So, do your feedback drills at home, and then you can expect to hold more putts.
You'll be making all the putts. All right, we're going to be taking your questions later in the show. So a reminder, how to get in touch. Like Golf Channel Academy on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at GCA. And send your emails to schoolofgolf@golfchannel.com. Now up next, it's an old favorite here on School of Golf, right or...
Rubbish!
All right, check out this statement. The putter head should reach peak speed before impact. It's one of the 3 teachings we'll take on, so don't go anywhere.
Well, that's obviously...
What is they're going to have to wait and find out, right?
Welcome back to School of Golf. It's time to play one of my absolute favourites. Yes, right or rubbish. We're not taking on 1, we're not taking on 2, but we're taking on 3 popular beliefs about putting. So, Blair, give me the first statement,
3.
please.
All right, let's start with the first statement. Right or rubbish? The putting stroke should be straight back and through with no rotation. Martin?
Rubbish. Rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. You really can't do that at all. Now, there may be with the shortest of putts the feeling that the putter goes straight back, straight through. Let me show you a couple of those putter training aids that people would use on the tour. I'm not going to use these, but you can see that the plane, the angle that this would be at, is not vertical at all. It's if you were going to putt with one of these, the putter is moving back and in and up to the inside a little bit, and down and out and forwards. It's moving on a plane. It's moving on an arc. Now, they may get relatively close to vertical, but nobody's putting on a vertical plane, which would be straight back, straight through. Everybody's on an angle. Some people like to think about an arc when they putt.
So there's always a slight arc then, right?
I think there is always a slight arc. There's always a slight arc. This would be... how you would see it using an arc here, that the putter would arc slightly to the inside. Now, the putter face would stay square to that arc or that path, but it would arc going through. It's not straight back or straight through. I think when you try and go straight back, straight through, you lose the rhythm of your stroke. That's not very good. Your hands and arms start doing things they shouldn't be doing. That's not very good. So what's my drill for that? It's very simple. You take an alignment stick, aim it at a target. It could be a can of soda at home. You put the sweet spot of the putter right over the alignment rod, and then as you putt back and through, you see it arc very gently inside that alignment stick, arced back to it, and very gently back to the inside.
Yep,
now, it's not very much. But the app we started the show with, the Blast app, it shows us there is face rotation. So do you putt straight back, straight through? Not quite. The shortest of putts, it might feel straight back, straight through, but it's never actually straight back, straight through, especially if you start, putting at any length at all. I finally made one.
You made one.
There we go, yeah.
He's warming up.
Okay. We've answered that one.
Let's get straight to the second statement. The putter head should reach peak speed before impact. Martin, is that right or...
Well, a lot of people think that's rubbish, but in fact it's right.
It's right. I like
it. It's right. Don't have many of those.
Okay.
It's right. I love the science because we can measure stuff now. And here's what the best putters do. They reach peak speed somewhat before impact, and then they're coasting through it. Now, what does coasting mean? It means if you're a good speed-abiding citizen, you get up to 70 miles an hour on the Florida Turnpike, and then you're coasting at 70. You're not slowing down, but you're not picking up speed. Really, how do you get that? Well, that's very much to do with the rhythm that we had in segment 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. Is there acceleration at impact? Let's see you knock another one in.
Okay.
In fact, I think the best putters would know that there is 0 acceleration at impact. They're not decelerating, it's not slowing down, but you probably reach peak speed, 2 or 3 inches before you reach the ball. And the reason I like people to know that is to take out this horrible hit. There we go. Someone put the lid on. Can't make them all.
Not even a good stroke, though.
Not even you
Can't
can
make
them all. Can't make them all. But the reason I wanted to bring that one to the show is that people don't have this idea of, at least I accelerated going through it. Used to hate that in the pro-ams, I'm sure you did. They'd knock it 7 feet.
Stabbing at it.
Well, they'd knock it 7 feet past and say, at least I gave it a chance. No, you didn't. If it went 7 feet past, it was going too hard. So it's coasting. And think of a car reaching peak speed and then coasting into the ball. So 1, 2, 3, 1.
1 count will definitely help with that. Okay, moving on to the third. Last but not least, keep the putter head low to the ground to impart topspin. Is that true? Is that right or rubbish?
That is rubbish. Rubbish. Number 1, you can't start the ball with topspin. No matter how you hit a ball, you either bounce it in the ground by de-lofting it, which I really don't like.
We don't suggest.
Or you have to launch it. That's why putters have loft on. Effective loft at impact, perhaps 1 degree effective loft at impact. So there's a hitting up with a slight de-lofting oftentimes of the putter, not negative loft, 1 degree of loft, but you're hitting up at the ball slightly. That launches the ball out of the tiny depression it sits in on the green, and you can't do that keeping the putter low to the ground.
Okay.
Now, a drill for that one.
Okay.
So I'd like you to set up to this ball. Now, I've put very useful alignment sticks, as you can see. I've put that alignment stick just behind the ball.
Okay.
If you have what is known as the correct rise angle, that's the lingo term of it, the putter's actually coming up a little bit as you hit the ball, probably de-lofting it.
Okay, so just putting with that alignment stick there. And
I would want you to be able to strike the ball up and over that alignment stick, still rolling it in the right direction. So no clobbering the stick. You did not clobber the stick. You did make the putt nice and easy.
Thank you.
You need to find a tournament as soon as we...
I'm getting ready for American Century Championship next month.
You want one as soon as we finish filming, let me tell you, because you are on fire.
I'm warming up. All right. But, Michael, this is really going to help you. Put that alignment stick down. Good stroke. You'll be making putts in no time, right?
Just like Blair.
Okay, up next, we're taking even more questions from the class about proper pre-shot routine and making more short putts.
And then later, we're getting inside the head of Russell Knock. We have exclusive info straight from his coaches on his key to victory at last year's Travelers Championship. A very special lesson. You do not want to miss their wisdom.
Welcome back to School of Golf. I'm Blair O'Neill alongside the professor, Martin Hall, and today we're teaching you how to putt for dough.
Yeah, remember at the start of the show I talked about stability and rhythm. We hope you get a lot out of this show, but you must take home stability and rhythm because that's where you're going to putt better from.
Very important keys. Now, it's time for a viewer question. Our first one coming to us on Facebook from Bruce. Now, he has a problem standing over his putts way too long and can't pull the trigger. He says, Martin, do you have any thoughts to cure this mental block?
Yes, and I think a lot of tour professionals, we've just seen the US Open not long ago, the Masters coming up soon, the Open Championship on NBC at Royal Birkdale. Gosh, you have to have a pre-shot routine, almost a ritual. I would almost say with the best
same
putters.
Every time. Every
time you practice it on the putting. I would say in reality, the putting stroke, your putting dance starts back here. Mine is something like this. I'll be interested what yours is. I get my aim back here, and I like to putt along the line. So I'll have 2 practice swings looking at the ball.
Okay.
I'll walk in with just my right hand on the club, put my left hand on, and then I'm going to be 1, 2, go. And I know when I'm doing that, that's how I'm going to putt. I've committed to do that on the practice screen. I'll practice on a carpet at home. Tell me about your ritual or routine.
Yeah, I definitely have a ritual. I think it's so important to have a good routine, especially when you get down to those pressure putts. You need to have a good routine to rely on. So I always start from behind the ball. I do my one-handed, right-handed practice putting stroke, 2 strokes, look at the line, get my spot, set up my putter face. I know I'm lined up correctly, set up my feet to that, and I go ahead. I'm going to put a good stroke on it.
Yes, you did. Now, I know you've worked with Pia Nielsen and Lynn Marriott.
Yes, and we've worked on this a ton.
And we're going to talk a little bit about them later with Russell Knox. But
Definitely.
the routine, the ritual, the best players have the same routine/ritual on the first hole as they do on the 72nd hole, even of the major championships. So,
so true.
Yeah,
Very
try
true.
that.
All right, let's get to our second question. Our next question is from Gordon Tucker, who says, I drop kick my putts. I hit maybe 1 inch behind the ball, and it skips into contact, resulting in a slightly short putt. Gordon, we've got a great drill to help you out from one of my fellow big breakers, LPGA teaching professional, Katie Dellison.
Are you tired of missing short putts? I've got a simple drill that is going to make draining the short ones easy. It's called the push drill. Let's get started. Now, the main reason I see amateurs missing these putts is that club face is twisting too much as we're coming into the impact area. So the wrists are too active and we're not following the putter straight to the hole. Another thing I see from a lot of amateurs is that putter's decelerating, it's slowing down, and there's simply not enough of a follow through. So this push drill is going to encourage the finish that we want to see, that you're going to notice with your tour players. So we're going to start with the club actually touching the ball. No backstroke here, but simply push the ball right into the middle of the cup. Only from about 1 foot to 1.5 feet away. Again, start with the putter touching the ball, simply following through, pushing the ball in. Once you've gotten that feeling of pushing the ball to the hole, now we're going to add the backstroke. I still want you to hold your finish here for a couple of seconds. That's going to tell you if you really held that putter to the finish. So let's try one with the ball. Back and through now. Holding that finish for a couple seconds. Work on the push drill. It's going to help you to have a better stroke. It's going to make those short putts easy and lower your scores.
I think that's a particularly good drill if you tend to pull the ball to the left. I'll be doing that one myself. Thank you for that, Katie.
I wasn't going to say anything.
You were.
Okay, we've improved your putting stroke. Now it's time to make sure you're stepping up to the ball with the equipment needed to execute.
Yeah, we're going to talk about putter fitting. We've got to talk about the length, the lie, the loft, and the lines on the putter. And one of them is an absolute essential. 3 of them are negotiable, but one of them is an absolute essential. And that one is, of course, going to be revealed to you in the next segment.
Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to School of Golf. Over the course of a round, you're going to use your putter way more than any other club in the bag, and that's why it's extremely important to have a flat stick that matches your stroke. Let's send it over to Martin to help you get fit.
Blair, thank you very much. Yes, when it comes to choosing a putter, well, there are many options, as we all know. I've just got 5 of them here. Now, what are the things you have to consider? The length, the loft, the lie, and then the lines on the putter head. Do you like them or not? The length is very important. If we look at some of the people who went away from the anchoring, they're using much longer putters. You have to do something with the loft, I'm going to come to. But if you're going to use an anchored putter, obviously that's a very long one. That goes up just below my elbow. Legal, certainly. Some people really like that. I am not a fan of longish putters unless you rest them against the arm. And the reason is, if you're using very long putters, I think you get too much angle in the elbows, too much angle in the wrists, and you get too much, or you can get too much freedom. So I think the length of the putter is very important. I prefer a shorter putter, if anything, because I think that allows for your arms to hang and give you a sort of pendulum motion. So the length. I would go for shorter rather than longer. The other thing in the putter is you've got grip thickness, haven't you? I mean, here's a 1.35 from Win, grip thickness. Some people like the thicker grips. You can get them even thicker than this if you like. Again, I still prefer the traditional, but some people really like the thickness of the grip. Jason Duffner does very well with it, certainly. Just one recently, and I think, you might want to investigate that if you're not happy with it, just getting a grip that's a bit thicker. Now, the loft on the putter, really important. Loft, really important. If you tend to have your hands forwards at address, like a Kuchar, like a Mickelson, you need loft on your putter. If you have your hands 6 degrees forwards, you might need 8 degrees of loft on. On the other hand, if you like Zach Johnson, you prefer your hands behind, you might need negative loft on. I certainly hope that Zach Johnson never putts with a putter that has the same loft on as Phil Mickelson, or vice versa. So I think the loft is really important. Get the loft measured. And then you get to the last thing in putter fitting, which is really, it's individual. Do you like lines on your putter? Do you like shapes? I mean, that's a new one from Cleveland. I love it. You know, the lines there, not even out yet, but the lines there really helping you aim. That 21-35 bar that we have in the middle, really helping you aim. Some people prefer an old putter like that, with old style putter, I should say, it's not old, with just one line on. Some people will even paint that line in. So you need to find out which one you aim better with. So those really are the four variables. You've got the length, you've got the lie, you've got the loft. The lie of the putter, by the way, the lie is if you've got a flattish putter, you're going to putt on more of an arc. And if you know, people ask me, what's the difference between a mallet or a blade? I don't know that I really have a good answer to that. I think it's where the putter, where the shaft effectively moves into the putter head. Now, this effectively is a center shaft putter because it's bent there. You can see the extension of the shaft would go in the sweet spot. So this will be minimal arc. But if you had one where the shaft really goes straight into the heel of the putter, that's going to be more of an arc. So there you are. Those are the variables. I think it has to look good to your eye, it has to feel good to you, and it has to be one that helps you aim. So those are the parameters to look at. Right over to Blair now.
Martin, great stuff there. There's so many equipment choices out there, and I think, like you said, it's so important to choose something that looks good to you and feels good to you. All right, up next, we're talking the mental side of putting with tips from the best teaching tandem in the game, Pia Nielsen and Lynn Marriott. They've coached numerous major champions, PGA Tour winners, and yours truly. Find out how they helped one of their students sink the most important putt of his life when we come back on School of Golf. Welcome back. We're big fans of Russell Knox here on School of Golf. He's been a guest on the show twice, and he's also won the PGA Tour twice. The most recent thanks to this clutch par save at last year's Travelers Championship. And guess what? We've got the inside scoop on his Kia champion performance. Yes, his coaches, Pia Nielsen and Lynn Marriott, we reached out to them and they so graciously told us the process, what they had worked on. And, you know, that's a critical putt, a critical moment. I mean, that's a mental minute if ever there was one. Oh, for sure.
And very interesting what Russell had been taught to do. Go in the thing box, but trust your gut.
Trust
your gut. So you get back here, you've got the line you mustn't cross, and you get yourself in your think box. But also you must trust your gut, trust your instinct.
Okay.
And actually, Russell was in the think box, he'd picked the line, he thought there was just a little dribble to the left, and he very nearly called his caddy in for a second opinion, very nearly.
And then?
But then he thought, no, I'm going to trust my gut.
Trust your gut.
And so, you know, the lesson there from Pia and Lynn is make a decision you can trust, or make a decision you can trust the most. A putt hit with trust is probably better than a putt hit with indecision almost every time. So let's see you trust one in here, young lady.
You know, that's so true. I think one of the things they taught me too is your first intuition, your first thought is normally the correct one. So
isn't that the truth?
Don't back and forth,
overthinking,
right?
Overreading doesn't lead to much very good on the greens.
Get in there.
Oh, I'm so glad that didn't happen to Russell Knox.
Flipped around. I know, right?
It's okay in here.
Okay. Up next, it's off to Martin's library for a book by short game guru Dave Pelz. He's worked with numerous major champions, including Phil Mickelson. And as you can see here, he's quite the putter himself.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Ridiculous
with a capital R. It was about 200 feet.
Rolling.
Yes.
Nothing but net.
Yes, nothing but net. Unbelievable. He couldn't believe it. Eddie Pelz, his son, couldn't believe it.
Wow.
He did it. Yes, absolutely.
School of Golf, brought to you by the K900 from Kia, official vehicle of the LPGA. Wind Grips, the best grips in golf. Srixon's new Z-Star Series. Take your performance further. Skechers Go Golf Elite 2, the official shoe of Matt Kuchar.
We're back with some major news about School of Golf. Next week, we're taking the show onto the road to the KPMG Women's PGA Championship.
We have plenty of special LPGA guests lined up, as well as, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Phil Mickelson. I'm going to put him at ease. I hope
Looking forward to that.
I hope he isn't too nervous. Don't miss his short game secrets and so much more from Olympia Fields Country Club next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Phil Mickelson and many other top players have turned to Dave Pelz for help with their putting, but his tips aren't just for the game's best. With this week's book, You Too Can Putt Like a Pro.
Yes, it was actually the first book that Dave wrote about putting, Teach Like a Pro. It's really, really good. Lots of great stuff in there indeed. And he's a gold mine of information for putting. But let me show you one thing here that he absolutely is adamant about in putting, and so are many others. You've got to hit the ball in the middle of the putter face.
That's
now,
important.
how can you practice that? Look, I've just got some mounting putty from a local store and just taped it to the face, and I've put that mounting putty just far enough apart that I can hit the ball in the centre of the face. Now, if you want to get professional level, you'd probably be a little bit tighter than that, but I'm not playing level anymore. But just at home, learning to hit the ball, not necessarily to a target, but learning to hit the ball without hitting the putty, which I did there, is certainly going to be a very good way to improve your putting, so solid contact. My homework assignment on this Putt for Dough show, Putting Better, how to knock it in the pot. If there's one thing I would want you to take away, it's the tempo, the rhythm of the stroke. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. Remember how we started the show. 0.6, 0.3, and 2.0. Get that app. You'll really like it.
You know, Martin, my takeaway from the show is when we talked about routine. Having a routine is so important, and the pros, when they get to a certain level, they know exactly how long their pre-shot routine is. So it's important to have that so you can stick to it during pressure moments.
Yes, it is. My mission statement, let's finish it off one more time with my mission statement. You know what it is. If you keep on doing what you've been doing, you'll keep on getting what you've been getting. Make the effort, make the change. For Blair O'Neill, I'm Martin Hall. We'll see you next time with fewer putts